Over the past calendar year, the Chicago Bears have gotten a lot of criticism from NFL fans and NFL media for getting rid of linebacker Roquan Smith and replacing him with linebackers Tremaine Edmunds and TJ Edwards. Naturally, since Roquan Smith has been really good in Baltimore and the Bears as a whole haven't been a great football team, a lot of people have overlooked the group of linebackers that Chicago have put together, even though the group as a whole is pretty damn good. Because of this, we're going to take a look at the Bears' most recent game against the Las Vegas Raiders, and I'm going to show you all that the Bears' linebacker core is, like I said, pretty damn good, even though they no longer have Roquan Smith. But before we do that, please make sure to leave a like down below, as it helps out the channel a ton, shows your support, shows you care, all that good stuff. And also make sure to subscribe, as we've got great football content coming your way throughout the rest of the season, into the offseason, and into the future. You definitely won't want to miss that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into talking about these linebackers, because boy, am I excited to get into it. All right, what you're about to witness is just textbook linebacker duo play. Everything that happens here between Edmunds and Edwards is just perfect. Like, mwah, chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. So you're going to see here, once this ball is snapped, you're going to see Edwards kind of take the initiative here. He's going to take on the brunt of it. He's committing to the run, which allows Edmunds to stay back, because in the event that this is play action, he is in a better position to drop back, take the middle of the field, which is typically his assignment in Chicago's defense, which means that Edwards, if this is play action, he can fully commit, blitz the quarterback. You get an extra rusher. That's always great, considering how bad Chicago's front four is at rushing the passer specifically. But what's going to end up happening here is this is a run play. And the design from the Raiders' perspective here is this guard is going to try to pull across and pick up Edwards, which is going to leave the fullback, Jakob Johnson, one-on-one with Tremaine Edmunds. He's got to push him out of the way. That'll open up a massive hole here for Josh Jacobs to get to the second level. However, TJ Edwards does a phenomenal job of not letting that happen. So you can see he takes on the guard at face value. He gets low, gets the leverage, gets underneath of him, and is able to actually push him into Jakob Johnson, effectively eating two blocks. This is like two-gapping as a weak side linebacker from TJ Edwards here, which allows Tremaine Edmunds now, he sees that it's a run, he sees Hoyer handing off to Josh Jacobs, his eyes are locked in the backfield. Edmunds is a super, super disciplined run defender. I love his eye discipline. And that's going to open it up to where there's going to be a hole right here. No lead blocker, meaning it's Jacobs versus Edmunds one-on-one. And Josh Jacobs is a good back. He's not winning one-on-one against Tremaine Edmunds. He's not. 9 times out of 10, that is Edmunds winning this rep, winning this matchup. I want to rewind real quick because my player's being a little funky. I want to see if we can't get to that first contact here with Edwards. Like I said, right here you can see the contact between Edwards. He's low on the lineman. And with the way he's positioned, Jakob Johnson has to come in and clean up, right? So Jakob Johnson already has to pursue here a little bit, and then Edwards, is able to push this guard into Jakob Johnson. And like I said, two gap here, essentially, take out two blockers, fill two of the gaps, and that forces this run to be bounced right into Tremaine Edmunds. Just, like I said, beautiful linebacker play, chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. This is why you pay these two to play next to each other. This type of play right here is exactly why Chicago wanted these two in their linebacker core. Because plays like this, where one of them can set the other one up to make a big play, or, to make a play. I guess this isn't a big play because the Raiders did gain positive yards, but it prevented what could have been like a 15-yard run. Instead, it's like a 1 or 2 yard run. That's a win defensively, right? So plays like this is exactly why you want these two on your team. This is just, again, perfect. 10 out of 10, no notes. Absolutely love it. All right, this next play is going to be what would happen if you took the last play and just had both linebackers do what TJ Edwards did to set up somebody else. You'll see what I mean here in a second. So this is going to be another inside run here. They're lined up with Jakob Johnson in the backfield again. They're going to do a little bit of motion, try to move our linebackers around. And what's going to happen here is you're going to see the tight end and the fullback are lead blocking for Josh Jacobs. And Edmonds and Edwards realize this almost immediately. You see Edwards gets low, takes on the tight end. Edmonds does the same thing with the fullback here. And what's going to happen is these two are going to take the tight end and the fullback and kind of push them into each other and effectively eliminating 1-2 different gaps once Edmonds actually makes contact here. And what that does is it forces Josh Jacobs to try to take this lane, which, as you can see, rewind it a little bit here, is going to be filled by Jaquan Brisker. So essentially what's happening here is you can't take this gap because of Edmonds. You can't take this gap because of Edmonds and Edwards. That means you have to take this gap as the running back or this gap over here. And if you go over here, you're going against Tyreek Stevenson, who was a phenomenal tackler as a corner. And if you take this gap right here, you're going against Jaquan Brisker, who is already beating his guy. He's ready to make the tackle. So, because of Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards eating up these gaps here in run defense, you can see this play is made pretty much instantly by Jaquan Brisker. Again, 1-2 yard gain, whatever. Just a really good read here by these two. This is the type of play, or this is one of those plays where, you don't notice it if you're looking at the stat sheet. You don't notice it if you're just watching from the broadcast angle. You really have to dive into the film to notice, like, the beautiful nuances in this type of play. And I don't know, I'm a football nerd. I love this shit. Give me a play like this where a defense perfectly fits the run and, eliminates gaps and forces a running back to bounce directly into a defender over like a 60-yard Patrick Mahomes throw. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I probably am. Maybe I'm just over-exaggerating because I love this duo at linebacker. Trio, really. Jack Sanborn, we'll talk about him in a little bit. But just to show this play off again, this is just textbook. Just absolutely beautiful from this linebacker duo. Here's the deal, right? Tremaine Edmonds, right here. This guy has a nose for the ball. He's always around the ball. Pretty much any play you watch, if it's physically possible for him to be around the football when the play ends, he's going to be there. So on this play right here, it's a prime example of why that's a good thing to be, a good way to play, because every once in a while, a ball's going to bounce the right direction and you're going to be able to capitalize on it. And that's exactly what Edmonds does here. And one of the main reasons I want to show this and break it down is because people look at tipped picks and it's like, he got lucky, right? But there is a certain amount of skill, a certain amount of instinct that has to be attributed to it, right? So you can see once this ball is snapped, Edmonds, his eyes are in the backfield instantly. And he's watching here, thinking it might be play action. When he realizes it isn't, he's going to start to make his ascent. I guess he's going backwards. Maybe we can call it an ascent. He's not going upward. I don't know. For the sake of this screen, he's going upward. So we're going to call it his ascent into his zone, into his drop where he needs to be. Eyes still on the quarterback because it's zone. Doesn't have to turn around and mirror somebody. He can watch the quarterback the whole time. You can see TJ Edwards is doing the same thing. He's not going to make the play here, obviously, but still a good shared trait between these two. And once Hoyer here locks onto the running back, once he raises his arm like he's going to throw to Josh Jacobs, you can see Edmonds, he stops moving backwards, plants his feet, and starts headed towards the back. But you can see the ball gets tipped off the hands of Jacobs. From this angle, it looks like Ngakoue gets a hand on it. I assure you he does not. So Jacobs fumbles the catch here, and because of that, Edmonds is in position to make a really nice one-handed grab, pull it in, come up with the interception. Again, this is one of those plays where to the naked eye, it looks like a little bit of luck, but Edmonds was able to diagnose this play pretty quickly, and that's skill, that's instinct, that's not luck. Like, yeah, he was in the right place at the right time, but there's a reason he was in that spot. There's a reason why he was close to the ball, why he was able to capitalize on the play. And I feel like that's something a lot of people don't talk about. I feel like there's almost a lost art to the tipped interception. We'll watch it one more time here. Just a really good play, and you get a turnover, you capitalize on it. Pretty sure the Bears went down and scored on the offensive drive that followed. I could be wrong, but they're on their side of on their opponent's side of the field, excuse me. So the right side of the 50 is what I was trying to say there. Words are hard. But, just a good instinctual play. Edmonds, again, with the eye discipline, locked onto the quarterback the whole time. Just something you love to see. Here we've got another example of Edwards setting up for Edmonds. Just more, pretty much any time Jakob Johnson was on the field, it felt like these two were making a play. I promise it's not only when he's on the field, but a lot of the clips I decided to pull out to look at have the fullback in it. A little bit of my fullback bias there, take it how you will. But you can see once this ball is snapped, same thing as the earlier clip, you've got Edmonds with his eyes in the backfield. If this is play action, he needs to be able to get back in coverage. Edwards, he's fully committing to the run here. They've got that little bit of dynamism there where they can do that. So Edwards is going to take on the fullback, Jakob Johnson. 66 is going to try to come up and double team. And what that's going to do is that's going to close up this gap up the middle here, which is going to force Josh Jacobs to bounce this run to the outside off of Jakob Johnson's right shoulder. And once again, you're getting that one-on-one with Tremaine Edmonds. And like I said, Josh Jacobs is not going to win that one-on-one. So you can see as 66 kind of starts to move in here and you see Edwards kind of go across the face, he closes up this gap right here, which forces Jacobs right into Tremaine Edmonds' lap. And from there, it's curtains. It's curtains. He's got him, and Edwards is even able to jump in on the tackle. Like, look at that. That's awesome. That's a great play right there. He actually does try to bounce this inside a little bit, the more that I look at it, because the lane does open back up. But you've got not one, not two, but three Bears linebackers there. I didn't even notice Jack Sanborn at first. So this is all three of them coming together. You got the trifecta here, the Triforce. Shout out to Zelda right there. There you go. All three of them getting in on the tackle there. That makes that play even better than I initially thought. We'll run it back with that context there, kind of see what Sanborn was doing. We're gonna adjust our thought process here on the fly, audible a little bit. So Sanborn, he's watching here too. Kind of playing the Edmonds role. As you can see, these two were primarily going to be in coverage, it looks like, if this was play action, and then you're going to have Edwards kind of trying to get to the quarterback here if it would have been play action. So then you see Sanborn turn in. He's going to take on the right tackle, El Umanor. And let's see how Sanborn takes care of it. He just dips underneath of his shoulder. That's a hell of a move right there. So he dips under the tackle's shoulder, puts himself in good position, and it's going to be all three linebackers coming together. Like I said, just good play from all three of them. Honestly, they all filled their role well. They all did what they needed to. A+, once again, that run defense is just perfect. This play right here, we're going to get a coverage rep from Edmonds. That's all we're going to be paying attention to here is what Edmonds does in coverage. You can see he's lined up as the Mike linebacker here in the middle. And this play, I think, is a great representation of how beneficial it is to have a 6'5" linebacker with good coverage instincts. You'll see what I mean here in a second. So once this ball is snapped, you can see it's play action. And the goal for the Raiders here is to get Michael, like the first read, what we're looking at here, is Michael Mayer's going to run a route into this middle part right here. And what you're hoping happens is these linebackers stay shallow, which the two outside linebackers do, right? Edwards, goes like right here. Sanborn ends up like right here. So you're kind of hoping Edmonds is kind of going to play here, or they're going to bite on the play action, obviously. But that's not at all what happens, actually. Once this play gets going here, you can see Edmonds ends up tailing off with Michael Mayer here. Just a really good job instinctively guarding that middle third. Obviously, that's his job, but I think how quickly he flipped his hips, how quickly he recognized the route is notable because he's able to create very little separation between him and the tight end. He's able to go stride for stride with him. And when you have a 6'5" linebacker going stride for stride with your tight end, you can't throw that pass, right? Now, say Edmonds was 6 foot. Maybe you can try to float this ball over top of him, hit your tight end in stride, something like that. I'm sure there's plenty of quarterbacks that would try that throw. Brian Hoyer, maybe not, but, you play against like a Mahomes or a Herbert or an Allen or even like a Kirk Cousins. They'll try to float this ball over top of the linebacker. But because Edmonds is so big and so fast and has good ball skills, you can't. This tight end, your first read, is completely taken out of the play. And, to Hoyer's credit, he ends up finding another open receiver right here. Whatever. That's not what we're worried about on this play. From the end zone angle, we'll be able to see a better view of just how big Edmonds is here. It's, like I said, just a good coverage rep. Nothing crazy, nothing game-changing, just something I feel like should be looked at. Like I said, You can see him go stride for stride with the tight end here, takes him out of the play. It's a good coverage rep. And you don't see simple coverage reps like that recognized very often, and especially not with Tremaine Edmunds. I haven't heard anyone this season talking about Edmunds in coverage, so I wanted to throw that one in here, even though it's nothing too crazy. Right here is just textbook eye discipline, just beautiful, beautiful eye discipline and play diagnostics from Tremaine Edmunds right here. We're going to see this is a little bit of trickery. The Raiders try to get cute, and Edmunds has no interest in any of it. So you can see they're going to fake the handoff to Jacobs, toss it over here to number 3, and Edmunds starts to bite a little bit when he sees Jacobs kind of leak out into the flat here. He's going to end up following him. He gets within range, and he sees Hoyer still has this ball. He pursues. He's all over it. You can see he's starting his stride here, and he ends up chasing down Jacobs and getting the tackle here. I mean, this is just a really good job of, like I said, not falling for the eye candy, not getting lost in the trick play. A lot of linebackers here are going to see this, and they're just going to pursue on number 3. They're going to run at the quarterback, whatever. Edmunds does a good job of staying patient, not getting greedy, reading the play, watching the quarterback, watching the ball, never taking his eye off of the ball, and it allows him to make the play here. I mean, this... Who knows? You've got Jalen Johnson, who, God love him in coverage. Tackling, yeah, he's all right. Jacobs, maybe if he gets low, he can run through Jalen Johnson, or he makes this cut behind this tackle. I forgot this happened on the play. He makes this cut behind this tackle. If Tremaine Edmunds isn't here, that could be a touchdown very easily. But because Edmunds here is able to diagnose this play, again, doesn't fall for the eye candy, doesn't fall for the flashy stuff, he's able to make this play, save a touchdown. That's some baller shit right there. That is some straight up baller linebacker play. Again, 10 out of 10, beautiful, fantastic stuff, absolutely incredible. So second to last play, we're going to take a look at Edmunds in coverage one more time. And this play right here is just a perfect example of his nose for the ball. So you can see he's dropping back, he's got this middle third. Obviously, that's pretty much what his entire role in coverage is for this defense. He's going to crash down. He's going to take away Hunter Renfrow here. So that's going to force Brian Hoyer to dump it off. And Edmunds, because, as I've said before, he's always watching the quarterback. He's always reading the quarterback's eyes. He's going to crash down on this tight end. And this tight end is going to be able to make the first guy miss. That's Kyler Gordon. And Edmunds is going to be able to come in, clean up, keep this for a minimal gain. I guess he doesn't make Gordon miss. Gordon gets him by the ankles. But either way, these two combine for a tackle here. And again, this is just Edmunds, his nose for the ball on full display. He goes from right here in the middle of the field to meeting him about right here. And it's just a really good play. Just really good nose for the ball, obviously. Really good instincts. That's the word I'm looking for. This is a very instinctive play. Just run it back one more time here. Just beautiful play. Absolutely fantastic stuff from number 49. All right, listen, we've talked about Tremaine Edmunds. We've talked about TJ Edwards. Let's give Jack Sanborn a little time to shine, because listen, people like to forget the third best linebacker on the Bears. He'd be the best linebacker on a lot of teams, especially when it comes to run defense. So this play right here is just straight up Sanborn shooting out of a cannon and taking care of Josh Jacobs on a toss play. So they do a little misdirect. They bring the fullback this way, which does get TJ Edwards to bite. And you can see here he's kind of seeing his mistake. He's trying to fix his positioning. Him and Jalen Johnson doing the same thing here. But you didn't fool Jack Sanborn. No, sir. He has shot out of a cannon. He's flying back into the backfield. You can see here Josh Jacobs tries to put a little, he acts like he's going to spin and then tries to juke. And a lot of linebackers, that would get them to stumble, fall back because they're not sure what to do with their feet. Sanborn does a good job of maintaining his balance, and then reaches out, wraps him up, brings him down. Just a sick run defense rep for a TFL. Drops him behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of a couple yards here inside the red zone. Come on. Come on, a 4 or 5 yard loss. Stop playing with me, man. Sanborn is that guy. He's awesome. The Bears linebackers as a whole are really freaking good. They're really starting to step up. They're really starting to come into their own. And when you've got 3 linebackers who can make legit plays against the run and at least 2 linebackers who are damn good in coverage, you've got a pretty good linebacker core. But anyways, there you have it. Tremaine Edmunds, TJ Edwards, Jack Sanborn, one hell of a linebacker trio that doesn't get any credit whatsoever because they're on a football team that isn't looking too great, to say the very least. But hey, those three are balling out. They're absolute studs. Love what we have in Chicago with those three. Sure, Roquan Smith may be better, but hey, I'm happy with the trio we have. I think they fit what we're trying to do a lot better, and they're cheaper than Roquan Smith, and I think that's what matters at the end of the day. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to leave a like down below. As I said, helps out the channel a ton, shows your support, shows you care, all that good stuff. Make sure to subscribe for more NFL content, more film reviews, all that good stuff coming your way throughout the rest of the season, into the off season, and into the future. But yeah, to everyone out there watching, I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it because you're all wonderful people and you deserve it.